Welcome back, everybody. Forgive me if my voice sounds raspy, but I have acid reflux and it causes my voice to sound deeper than it would normally sound and a little more raspier than it should sound. Welcome back to my video. Thank you for joining in. I want to just say my subscribers have been going up. And I want to thank everybody who has been subscribing to my channel. A lot of people say that they're grateful and they're thankful, but I really am. I really am, because I never thought that I would have as many subscribers as I have now, even though it's still not where I want to be, because I'm trying to get monetized, but it's still growing, and every subscriber is a blessing. And I'm just being honest. And I thank you all for subscribing and staying subscribed to my channel, because it's a choice thing. You don't have to. So the fact that you are is a blessing. And I thank you. Now, I want to talk about something serious for a moment. A few months ago, I found out, excuse me, I found out that I have two boys, two sons. My oldest son, I found out a few months ago that my son and my married son is living a polyamorous life. And more recently, about 3 weeks ago, my husband and I, my youngest son and my younger daughter, went to visit them for the first time since we found out. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect when I got there, because when I found out, the way we found out was through Instagram and through family members. And I didn't believe it when I heard it, because from what I knew of my son, this type of thing wouldn't have never been thought of in his head and in his heart. I brought my kids up a certain way. I brought them up believing in God, loving God, and what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm an angel, I'm a saint, because I'm not a saint and I'm not an angel. You know what I'm saying? I don't live a saint life. I curse, I get mad, I get angry. I've been in fights throughout my life. I've cursed a couple of people out and stuff like that. None of that is godly. None of that is godly. But we're human. We're not gods. And you can't expect everybody to go according to plan. Now, I was hurt when I found out because of the way I found out. And I just felt like something that serious should have been explained. And we should have been prepared for what was going to come next, which would be backlash. Not only from people but mostly from family members. The whispering behind closed doors, and and the shock value look on their faces when you walk in the door. And we wasn't prepared. We wasn't prepared for any of that. So I was upset at my son, mostly my son, because it was his responsibility to sit us down and let us know what this was, what it was about, how did this happen, why did it happen, and when did it happen, when did all of this come about. And none of this was told to us. So when people were calling us and chiming in and, oh, what's going on with your son, what's going on with your son, we didn't know how to answer that, because we had no idea what they was talking about. So, when it was coming out, I was like, oh, that ain't my son. That's not my son. Ain't no way, because my son don't do this. My son don't do that. I know my son. And this just proves y'all that you really don't know your kids. You think you know your kids. But when they walk out of that door and they slam that door and they lock that door and they're off to school and they're hanging with their friends and they're with their girlfriends, you don't know who they are. And there's a lot of parents out here that are starting to realize that they never knew their kids. And I'm one of them. Was I upset about the poly thing? Yes, I was. Very, 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 very upset. For 2 weeks, when I found out that it was true, I found out through my younger daughter, which is his older sister. And she told me, and I was upset about that because I felt that that wasn't her place. This wasn't her story to tell. And I felt that out of respect for his parents, he should have came to us himself. He's a grown man. He's a married man. He has children. So I expected him to come to us as a grown man. And if this is what your life is now, let us know. Don't let us find out through Instagram or through other family members. Sit us down and tell us yourself, my dad or whatever, this is who I am now. And I know you're upset. I know you're going to be angry. I know you're probably going to curse and yell and scream. And this is not of God. This is not what you're supposed to do. But this is who I am. And yes, I would have yelled. I would have screamed. I would have, I don't know. But I know that my reaction wouldn't have been, oh, good for you, son. Good for you. No, it wouldn't have, because I didn't raise them in that way. So you can't tell a person how to live their life. Once he left out of my home, he was free to do what he wants, you know? I mean, he is who he is. Whether he lived in my house or not, inside he was going to be who he was. But until he left my house, you know, I guess he didn't feel like he could be who he wanted to be while he was still living in my house. But once he moved out of my house and got married, what can I tell him? No matter how upset I was, you know, what could I tell him? What could I say to him? Oh, you're not going to do this. Oh, you're not in my home no more. You're not a child no more. I can't tell a grown man, a married grown man with children, that this is not something you're going to do. I can't do that. I don't have that power to do that. He's not in my home. He's not living under my roof. He's not paying no bills in my home. He has a whole wife and 2 boys. And although I don't approve of it, I don't approve of it, but I'm trying to understand it. Because I don't think I will ever understand it. And I don't think I will ever be okay with it. But I have to respect that this is their life to live, and they're going to live it the way they want, whether I approve of it or not. I don't have it in me I'm not okay with it, because when he got married, I thought it was going to be him and his wife, and they were going to love each other for the rest of their lives together without any interruption from anyone else. I love my husband to death. I couldn't imagine in no lifetime sharing my husband with any female, or knowing that when my husband goes to bed at night, he's going to bed with this woman right across the hall from me, or right down the hall from me. There's no way. My husband could never come up and ask me for a threesome. He could never do nothing like that. I would never ask him for one, because as far as I'm concerned, this whole body here belongs to him and him only. When I married him, it was to be with him from the day we got married until the day we die, through the Bible, through the Word of God. That's what it was going to be. I've been with my husband since I was 16 years old and he was 17. And not once have I ever had the desire to be with anybody else. And neither has he. At least I pray that he hasn't. He's never told me he has. He never gave me any indication that he wanted to be somewhere else, you know. And I thank God that I found a man that loves me and only wants me. But you know, my son is not me. He's not my husband, you know. And although I don't understand it, and I probably never in a million years understand it, but it's not for me to understand because it's not my life. You know, there's a lot of people that say, do you approve of what he's doing? It's not my right to approve or not or disapprove of it because it's not my life. I can't tell him, well, I don't approve of this, so you're not going to do this. You know, I can say I'm not happy with his decision. No, I'm not happy with his decision. But I can't approve or disapprove because what difference would it make? Would it make a difference to him? Is he going to stop doing what he's going to do? If I say I don't approve of this, is it going to stop him from living this lifestyle? Is it going to stop him from doing what he's doing? No, but because he's grown and he's not going to live by my rules. I'm his mother, but I'm not God, and I'm not going to sit here and say to my son, "You're not my son." I can't look at you as a man. When I see him, I still see my son. Do I understand how he can allow another man to lay with his wife? No, I'll never understand that. I don't think I would ever. And my husband was like, you know, to a man, you know, and this is his son. So to another man, he's like, you got to be out your mind, you know. And he used some different words. Some very different words, but that was the gist of it. You got to be out of your mind. What's wrong with you? You know, and you know, my husband is from well, we both are from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York. You know, and that's something you don't hear about. You ain't even thinking I'm going to allow something like this. This is not never thought of. You know, so I'm not going to lie to you. It was a big pill to swallow when we found out about this because I'm not going to lie. I cried for about 2 weeks straight. I couldn't eat for 2 weeks. My husband was checking on me, babe, you all right? You got to stop. You got to eat. You got to sleep. You need to get some sleep. And he would come and he would hold me and try to talk to me and console me. But at that time, I was unconsolable because I just was so hurt, and I just couldn't believe that this was going on in my son's life. And but we went out there because I wanted to try to understand what this whole thing was about. So I went to where he lives, and I met the guy that is currently living with them, and I don't know if y'all know this, but my daughter-in-law is Passion Jones, and she's on YouTube. She's a content creator, a fashionista, and my son, his name on YouTube is The Black Native. And we went to go see them, and I met the guy. The guy is really a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. They were being very respectful when we were there. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There was nothing that would upset us. There was no hand holding, no kissing, no touching of any kind while we were there. They were very respectful of the fact that this was new to us and that we probably would be very uneasy seeing something like that. So there was none of that going on. He was very respectful. And he does a lot of cursing from what he said, from what he told us, but not one time did I hear a curse word out of his mouth. He was very respectful of the fact that we were there. And my son, I could tell that he was nervous because he kept, I could see from the corner of his eye, he kept looking at me, and I know he was wondering what I was thinking. And rightfully so, because I did have a lot of stuff going through my mind at that time. I just was looking around, and although I didn't see anything that I would think would be disrespectful, it still hit me that there's another man in this house that's, living in my son's house, that's sleeping with his wife. This is her boyfriend. She has my son and she has her boyfriend. And, I really care about Passion Jones, my daughter-in-law. And I love my son. I don't know who this guy, the guy, I think his name is Dominique, or Dom, they call him Dom. I don't know him yet to say I care about him or whatever. It's hard, even though this is going on, it's hard for me to not care about the woman that married my son, because I've known her for 10 years or more. I've loved her for 10 years or more. She's the mother of my grandkids. So it's hard for me to separate what I feel for her to what's going on, because it's not something that's like saying, oh, I've raised my son all these years and now that he's living this lifestyle, I can't love him, or my love for him just dies out automatically because he's doing this. It doesn't work that way. Just like a woman that finds out her husband is cheating, her love for him don't just die out right then and there as soon as she finds out. It doesn't. How could it? She's loved this man for a lot of years, so how could the love just fall? If your love can just die out that soon, then that means that you never really loved that person. So, no, my love for her hasn't died out, but I just wish that they didn't want to live this lifestyle. I really do. I wish they didn't want to live this lifestyle. I, was upset because I personally felt like what was going on in their marriage, that they needed somebody else. They needed a third party. I was wondering, was she not enough for my son? Or was my son not enough for her? I don't know the dynamics of the whole poly thing. Or, I know that he's her boyfriend, but what goes on in their bedroom, I have no clue. I didn't ask. I don't know. And honestly, I don't want to know. I want to be in the dark about that. I don't want to have no idea. I don't even want to think about what might go on behind closed doors. That's not for me to know. And I don't want to know. I don't want to think about that. So the whole time we were there, we did a podcast with them because, I guess people wanted to know what the parents thought of the situation. Now, I don't know if her parents are going to do a sit-down podcast with them, but we were asked by them if we would come and sit down with them and meet their person and discuss the situation. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When we first got out there, I didn't know if I would be able to do a podcast because I didn't know how I was going to feel when I met the person, or how I was going to, address my son and my daughter-in-law. Because you just don't know about these type of things. You don't know. You're walking in unfamiliar territory. So you don't know how you're going to react. Honestly, when we was driving out there, my husband said, "Are you ready for this?" And I said to him, honestly, I don't know, because I'm not sure how I'm going to feel once I see everyone. I knew I wasn't going to walk in my son's house and be disrespectful. I knew that, because that's not the type of person I am. I'm not going to walk in somebody's home and disrespect them in their home, whether he's my son or not. I'm just not going to do that. But as far as whether or not I would have been able to stay there, and whether or not I would have been able to handle seeing the three of them, I don't know. I just honestly don't know. And I didn't know how I was going to react to that. I don't know if I would have been able to stay there. Because for all I know, I could have got in there, seen it, and got completely sick to the stomach and walked out and said to my husband, I got to get out of here. We had our hotel room, so we didn't have to stay. But once I got there and I see that there was no disrespect to me and my husband going on. There was no kissing. There was nothing like that. You know, I appreciated that they withheld themselves from any kind of affection because we were there. And they knew we wasn't ready to see anything like that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to see anything like that. I'm just being honest. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's my son's wife. And no other man should be kissing or holding or touching on my son's wife. And even though their person, Dom, is a really nice guy, he really is nice and he's very respectful. And I could see why someone would be attracted to him because he's a nice looking guy and stuff like that. It's just the whole being married and needing a third party thing that bothers me. And it bothers me more that my son is, well, it did bother me more that my son, being the man of the household, would be okay with something like that, you know. But regardless of the fact, I don't want a distant relationship with my son. I want to love my son the way I love the rest of my children. I want to always be a part of my son's life. And even though I don't believe that my son would have kept me from my grandchildren, because he's never kept me from my grandchildren, I don't want him to feel that his children won't be able to see their grandchildren because their grandparents, because if we're not okay with it, we might not want to come there. And if we're not okay with it, he might not want to come see us because he knows that there would be some issues. And with that being done, how would I see my grandkids? If I'm not willing to go to their house because of this situation, and they're not willing to come over here out of fear of what might be said to them, then where does this play with me seeing my grandkids or us seeing our grandkids? And I didn't want that. I love my kids. I raised my kids to be independent people and independent thinkers. And I never thought in a million years that I would ever say to my son, and I haven't, and I don't think I ever could say to my son that you're not my son. I don't want to see you. Because of the life you live, you can't come to my home. That's my son. And he's going to always be my son, and I'm going to always love my son. And no matter what he's doing with his personal sexual life is none of my business. The same way they don't know what goes on with me and their father. When we go in that bedroom and close the door, they don't know. They don't need to know because it's none of their business. And it's the same way that I feel about what goes on in their bedroom. I don't want to know. It's none of my business. When they go in their bedroom and they close their doors, that's only for them to know what's going on. I would be mortified if I thought my children heard me and my husband or saw something that they shouldn't have saw with me and my husband. Because that's not for for them to know. And it's not for them to see or to hear. They shouldn't know and they shouldn't want to know. Because that's my bedroom. And what goes on in my bedroom is me and my husband's business. Nobody else's. Not even my kids. So I have to look at it in that aspect that he is my son. He's a decent person. He's a good man. He's a good father. And he is a good husband. He always have been. Even before the poly thing, he was always a good husband. He was always a good father. He loved the hell out of his boys. You know, and he's always been a good person, you know. And, you know, a lot of people could say what they want about my son. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. I don't care about none of that stuff. He's my son. And that is not going to change. God brought him into this world because God had a purpose for him. And I loved him from the moment I found out I was pregnant with him, just like I did the rest of my kids. And that's not going to change because of who he chooses to be involved with or who he lets inside his home or in his bedroom. That's my son. And I'm going to love him till the day I die. And then after that, in my afterlife, if there is one, and I do believe there is, I'm going to love him then too. So that's it, y'all. We did a podcast with them, and then we did like a little TikTok, to try to break up the tension or whatever. And we actually had a good time while we was there. We were there for like 2 days or so, and like I said, I'm still learning who he is now, and in my eyes, he's still my son. There's some things about him that is new because of the poly thing, but all in all, he's still my son. He's still who I brought up. But we had a nice time. We came home, and I left knowing that my son is still my son. And when we left, he knew that I was still his mother, and he still had a father, and that we still love him regardless, and we're going to always be there for him. And if he ever needs us, he has us, and that'll never change. And he has his brothers, and he has his sisters, and that is never going to change. My son is my son, and my love for him is unconditional. And no, was I happy about his decision to live this lifestyle? No, I'm not. I'm not happy about it. I'm still not happy about it. But it's not, like I said, it's not my life to live, and he's going to live the way he see fit for him and his family. And I just have to accept that, And a lot of people might say, oh, you don't have to accept it. I do have to accept it because it is what it is. Me not accepting is not going to change the fact that it's going on. This is something that is going on. So do I have to accept that it's going on? Yes, I accept that this is the lifestyle that my son is living. Am I happy about it? No. But do I accept it? Yes, because this is what's going on right now. So that's all I wanted to say, y'all. And I'm not putting my son on blast just in case there's somebody out there, you putting your son. No, they have had a podcast out for a long time now. And it's on Instagram. They put it on YouTube. So what I'm saying is just my feelings. I wanted to come and I wanted to speak on it because I know a lot of people might, that if you've watched the podcast and you see me on there and you are a subscriber of mine, I know you had to wonder, like, that woman looks familiar. So I'm just coming on here to share my views on how I felt, and it's pretty much the same as I said on the podcast. But this is me in my home talking to y'all and not having my husband, my son, his wife, or their person there with me. This is just a one-on-one with me and y'all. So I just wanted to come here and just explain it, just in case people seen it and they want to hear my point of view without everybody else being around. So that's all I have to say, y'all. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment below and let me know what you think of this whole thing. And hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I bring out a new video. I am trying to bring out, or I will be bringing out a new video at least 5 times a week, y'all. So y'all going to see me a lot. Y'all going to see this face a lot. And I hope y'all are looking forward to seeing it, because you're going to see this face a lot. But when I get to 200 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. Not sure yet what that giveaway will be, but I am definitely doing a giveaway when I hit 200 subscribers. So look for that. I will be giving details on how it's going to go down and everything. So just look for that. But like I said, I'm at 142 subscribers right now. So once I get to 200, once again, I will be doing a giveaway to say thank you to everybody for subscribing to my channel. So until then, y'all, be blessed, stay blessed. Later.